I appreciate you taking the time. As you know, been a big fan of this show and a huge supporter of it. So
Thank you.
yeah, no problem. I want to start, obviously, what made this movie possible, and that, of course, is the fan support. What does it feel like to be part of something that has so much support behind it?
It's so gratifying and humbling and meaningful to me. It has absolutely been the most um, meaningful experience I have had with an audience in my entire career. And I'm just so thankful for the support and the viewership and the enthusiasm. And yeah, we absolutely would not have made this movie if it weren't for the fans.
Yeah. You know, the movie, I got the chance to watch it. I watched it actually last night. I think it does a really great job of closing some doors, opens a few others if there is an expansion, which I hope there is. But I'm curious for you, since this whole show is pretty much based around your character, what was the most important level of closure for you as the character of Zoey to have with this movie?
It's funny, I don't think of my work playing characters in terms of closure, because I've been asked this question before. And I mean, what's so fun about a TV show is that there's the pilot episode and then there's the finale, but in between, it's not like a movie where you're like, for the first 40 minutes, you build the suspension and the conflict, and then you have the culmination and then the climax and then the reconciliation. It's like the TV, you get to go up and down and sideways and explore like every crevice. And in that way, like, you really get to know these characters as like they seem like people, because you've watched them go through so many experiences and be in different environments. And so for me, like, I feel like so much happened in this show where, you know, the show could have ended after season 1. The show could have ended after season 2. The show could have ended after this movie. We don't know which one is going to be the actual end, obviously. But for me, like, I'm not like searching for closure, and I didn't feel unsatisfied even when we got canceled, which I thought was too soon. You know, there was still more we could tell. I wasn't like, oh, the ending is too open-ended and we can't. It's like, well, I kind of like an open-ended ending. So that was a long-winded way to answer your question, which is that I loved the ending of this movie. I was surprised by it, which is always fun. You know, like, I loved, spoiler alert, what she says to Max, where, you know, maybe I got these powers basically so that I could recognize that you are my love. And yes, I lost a love, but I gained a love. And, you know, I'm not going to withdraw from the world. I'm going to look up from my computer screen and enter, even through my fear and my loss. Anyways, I feel like I just talked and I don't know if I answered your question, but short answer is, like, I'm not really thinking in things in terms of closure. Like, in life, do we get closure?
No,
No.
that's the truth. I mean, honestly, no, we don't, right? Things happen all the time and you're like, what the hell just happened and why did that happen? And we never know. So you're right. I think it's funny though, like when we talk about TV stuff and movies, right? Everyone is kind of like left, like if it's not, you know, with a nice little bow on top of it, everyone's kind of like, oh, what's going to happen here? You didn't answer all the questions. Kind of like, that's sort of how life is. You don't get that final remarks unless we're dead, and that's all you get. So
right. That's all you get is the grave. Okay.
That's it. You're done. So you know, I talked to Skylar a couple days ago, and he was telling me that this was a very quick shoot. And actually, what I didn't get to ask him was, where did you end up shooting this movie?
We shot the series in Vancouver, and we shot the movie in Vancouver at our original soundstage.
Oh, okay. All right. So both was kind of set and shot at the same place. Okay. I know Austin has been a big supporter of all of you on the show and your careers now moving forward. Um, I haven't got a chance to talk to you about this, but I know this whole entire show was like kind of like a healing process for him to kind of like deal with everything that he's dealt with. As an actress, what does that feel like to be part of like someone's kind of fictionalized version of their life story?
I want to honor his story, and I'm an actress who will take anything I do very seriously. So I just took the job very seriously, which for me meant like really honoring grief and how large that experience is and how all consuming it can be, and also how joyous and uplifting and cathartic it could be to lean into love and connection. And I think the big themes that we deal with in this show are can be on paper very like obvious, but I think what's so great about Austin's writing and Mandy's choreography and all of the performances by my incredible castmates is that we were very specific in our storytelling. And I think when you are very like truthful and specific, it becomes very universal. So like, taking grief very seriously with this particular storyline, I think audience members can associate with experiences that are similar, but maybe not exactly the same. Or like Alex Newell's storyline in season 1, Mo's storyline about his identity and not feeling accepted in his place of worship or in his community. Like, these are very specific experiences, but I think when they're performed and executed very truthfully, they become very universal.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that you hit the nail on the head with that. And I think that's the thing that makes this show so successful. And I think this is the reason why so many people have gravitated towards it, is because, I can see myself a little bit in your character. And then every once in a while, I could see myself in Mo or, Simon. There's all these characters are so fleshed out. And when I was talking to Austin, he was talking about how he kind of sits down with each of you and kind of gets your input before just writing. So you can kind of like, how can I make Zoey Jane? Like, how can Jane be seen in Zoey? And I think you can see that in all the characters, and that's what makes the show so special.
Totally.
I've known you. I know you sung so many songs in this, both both in the 2 seasons and then also the movie. Do you have a favorite song that you performed?
Well, something that has been coming up that's really funny to me is that I sang I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus, and then I sang We Need a Little Christmas. And I think like, I don't know how to explain it. And it's just so bizarre, but I'm like, oh, maybe being a fucking weird, zany person to Christmas music is like my ultimate truth, because I just had so much fun doing those numbers. And it's just, a very strange discovery throughout this process.
That's so more Christmas music for you.
I guess so. I really wouldn't have thought, coming from horror films and comedy, I didn't think that I had such a earnest, weird elf inside of me.
My favorite song that you perform, and I know the backstory of like how everyone kind of has some backlash about it, but I think it's probably my favorite moment from all of the seasons is when you sing Starships. When you get high and sing, I mean, that's just my favorite.
Thank you. I will take credit, because originally I wasn't supposed to sing in that number, and I was supposed to just watch it. And I said, if I'm high, why can't I perform it? And Austin was like, okay. But I think it was originally not my song.
That's a shame. Yeah, no, and I love how like animated you are in that scene. We're like, whoop, 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 like I love it. So I wanted, to ask, and this is just like a fun little question. I hope there is another season, but if not, and we have to kind of stick to movies. What is the next movie title you would want this to be? Like, is it a holiday? Is it like a trip? Like, what do
Yeah,
you
I mean,
think?
I love the idea of a trip because I'd love to go to some like beautiful place to shoot it. So like Zoe's Extraordinary Vacation sounds good to me, or Zoe's Extraordinary Halloween. I love Halloween. I think that when we can be put in settings that are like semi-magical, which is like Christmas or spooky Halloween town, it really serves the Zoe's world because we live in a, in a fantasy.
Yeah. And then my last question for you, just in general, because obviously you've been with this now for a long time. And I think that's what's different about a TV show too versus a movie, right? Because you're kind of like, you wrap production on a movie and it's kind of like a 6-month period, sometimes shorter, and you're kind of away. You've been playing this character now for 2 seasons and then a full film. And obviously there's so much fan support and everything, and people want it to continue. Can you just talk a little bit about what this show actually means to you?
I mean, oh, yeah, this show has meant so much to me. I mean, I feel like I really found myself as an actress in this part. I really did not hold back in any regard. I got to learn new skills. I just, I, it's one of those things that I think maybe in the future I'll be able to look back and be a lot more, and think about this in more clarity. And for me now, I'm just sort of in it, but I know that it's like monumentous and its meaning for me. And right now, all I can really say without, I keep repeating myself, but I just feel like really grateful and existing in the gratitude right now. And I think that the future will make it clear like what this show meant to me in entirety, but it means a lot is my short answer.
Great. Well, thank you very much. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Thank
Lots of
you.
success, and hopefully I'll see you soon.
Thanks so much.
All right, take care.
Bye.